Welcome everybody. Louis Marco and Brandon Curry interview on the fly. It was not even expected. Right now they're in Koala Land and the time there is 1:15 in the AM. Is that right, Brandon?
That is correct.
Perfect, man. Now listen, I had no idea that you will be actually doing the Koala Classic. I mean, I thought you would be done after your magnificent twin in the Kiwi Land next door. So what's up with that?
It's like why not? It was something that was kind of desired of me to actually do, and I guess if you can solidify and do it twice, people actually start believing you. Plus, it's good money in the pocket. At the end of the day, I'm on this side of the hemisphere. I might as well just finish the job, get a little extra money, and head home happy.
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, your trainer Abdullah told me that you're looking actually better than the Kiwi eventful win. Let's talk about it real quick, because Brendan, to be honest, you're coming pretty much from the dead. I mean, last year you were not seen, you were not eventful of a character in the bodybuilding scene. Of course, you're named the prodigy, as we know about you, but that was like 10 years ago. Everybody was waiting for you to come in. You had a good contract back then with BSN. And then the change that happened in your life is you moving down there to Kuwait, and all of a sudden you completely overhaul your body. What's up, man? What happened to you?
Well, life is life, and sometimes you go through life, you're doing what you can, the best you can, and you just it doesn't pan out the way you want because no matter what kind of situation it is, bodybuilding requires a certain amount of resources to be successful, and of course, all these guys is made it to this level have a certain level of genetics. So at the end of the day, sometimes it may come to not necessarily work ethic, but resources. So being in an environment where I don't have to worry about certain resources, I don't have to worry about the time that I have time to dedicate to the sport itself, and you get a miracle grows type of environment for a guy in a body like mine with attributes like mine. So, uh, considering I've been pretty conservative over my career, I had a lot of wiggle room to kind of be able to experiment, and you get somebody with the knowledge of Abdullah and the sport of batter, and you just cooked up something real nice.
Okay, so you do agree that this is by far your best shape ever by a long shot, right?
Of course, definitely is. It's like I haven't been tested in this fashion yet. So this is what people are seeing is actually being tested in certain fashions that over the course of these years, whatever circumstances, have not really been tested. Whether it's been unable to get my hands on it, whether it's been financial, or it's been able to the amount of time I've been able to really dedicate to the sport, trying to balance a family at the same time.
Correct. Now, of course, I created that famous, now worldly known term, anabolic chicken, and everybody goes back to it. But let me make this clear. Your trans, or not, we can call it a transformation indeed, because I mean, the change is so drastic between 2016 and this year. Let's make that clear to everybody around the world. It does not have to do solely with the so-called anabolic chicken. It has to do with a perfect storm. You being there, you dedicating, putting the effort, the professionalism of the team surrounding you, the environment. It is pretty much a lot of conditions that came into play to create the new version of you. It's not something an enhancement of any kind of supplement that made you what you are right now.
No, no, no. You learn a lot about yourself when you put yourself in a competitive environment. There's different rules of training that normal people traditionally follow, right? And when you get in an environment like Kuwait, where you have all the rest that you need, all the food and nutrition and stuff you need, typically you can break a lot of those rules, especially if you have the genetic ability to break those rules. So some of those barriers, of course, in my life hadn't been pushed since I've been very, very young, and I call naive young man. When you're in the gym training, putting in all those hours, but you're just not eating enough. But you combine, all this heavy training, all this heavy volume, all this abuse in the body. Some guys can recover from it. Some guys can't. I just happen to be one of those guys that you can keep beating me up. I recover from it. You feed me, and I'm good to go. I'm ready for another beating again. Get a couple naps in, and I'm ticking once more. So it's just that perfect combination of just being able to be pushed outside the your comfort zone, outside even what wisdom would tell you is right, or what the normal people would say is overtraining or whatnot. Um, Here is you don't follow those rules. They follow the rules of your body, push your body to the limit, and let your genetics, let your physique tell the story at the end.
And that all happened in a short period of time. How many months that happened in?
Well, including this week, that's 3 months.
That's it.
I've been gone away from home.
Pretty
Yeah,
much. That's just insane. I mean, the
yeah.
difference is rather staggering, right? I mean, and when it comes to you, what is the most surprising change that happened to your body aside from the mass, the roundness? Is that like a certain body part that basically transformed? In my opinion, it is your back, but I want to hear your opinion about it.
Yeah, the back definitely improved because we know how important the back is in bodybuilding, and the team here, of course, they make a big focus on bringing the back in and pulling out the weak areas of the back so that your back presents as best as possible. So that's something these guys religiously attack week after week, trying to troubleshoot, figuring out what angles, what machines, where you get the best contractions with your back training, how we can overload that movement a different movement. So yes, that's really been a prime focus. Another thing you notice is just my physique is just a lot harder. So I just didn't put on the size. Also, it seemed like I added some muscle density, and of course, the muscle maturity at my age is also probably coming into effect at the same time.
Okay, what was your weight in the New Zealand Classic, sir?
In New Zealand, I guess I think we were around 112, 112 kilos. In New Zealand, it was just like what 246 or so, I think in pounds.
So you were given more or less at least 40, 50 pounds to Dallas, is that correct?
So he says, yeah.
Okay, all right. Because while we all saw, Dallas, and being disappointed and having some emotional thoughts after that, and I love the guy. I mean, he's a young guy he's a kid in the game, and hopefully he will find his right path in this sport. Because quite frankly, I don't think he progressed that much from Mr. Olympia. Being honest and fair, no pun intended. Hopefully he will find the right track. And actually, you will collide with him today, right? Again in Australia, right?
Yes, that's definitely correct. This evening we'll be on stage again. Me and Dallas, we're from the same state, from the same general area, so very familiar with each other. Very, very talented kid. He has a lot of potential ahead of him. Kind of came up in the sport really, really fast, and we know what that does. It pretty much happened almost in the same fashion to me, except he's a lot younger. So you don't come up as quick and the way you're supposed to. You fall here and there. The industry kind of can be a little hard and a little cruel on you for a little while. But I think he hopefully has the right people around him where he can fight that and resist that and be able to push through that and continue to work hard and improve and not let to get the best of him. I mean, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with on stage, of course. But I've just got certain talents and traits that we've been able to take advantage of on stage. These small joints and round muscle bellies that just give the illusion of things that I may not necessarily present in numbers.
Would you say that you are the new Flex Wheeler? That you are like the Sultan? I mean, he was nicknamed of course, we call the Sultan of Symmetry, but Nasser El Sambari called him the Sultan of Illusion because he weighed like 60 pounds less than him, but he looked bigger, more round than Nasser El Sambari.
Yeah, I mean, I like that analogy. I think your bodybuilding is about illusions at the end of the day, because we're on a stage away from each other, and statistics are a lot about and fabricated and whatnot. So we don't even know what's real and what's fake. So we got to go with what we see. And being a Flex named me Soul Brother number one uh, when I was an amateur, I take my hat off to Flex. Respect him a lot, and what he's done and been able to do in the industry and with his physique has been incredible. So be compared in that matter is definitely an honor for sure.
Absolutely, and I think you are Flex. We're a little bit harder. Let's confess. A lot of people go back to the so-called golden era of the '90s, but you guys right now are bringing feats and features that these guys did not have. The hardness right now can be definitely that much more impressive than back in the day. But to stay with Flex, real quick, what's your thought about him coming back to do classic physique this time around at the age of 52.
Everybody's worried about Flex, but at the end of the day, it's his life, it's his passion, it's what he wants to do. He's a grown man. I can't tell him what to do, what not to do. If it's what he wants to do, following his heart, then let him do what he needs to do, man. As a man, he can die happy and be be fulfilled in his life. So if this is what he wants to do right now, I'm behind him. A lot of people are worried about him, but of course we're gonna worry about him. I mean, you're gonna worry about him anyway, whether he's
Absolutely.
on stage or not.
All right. Well, anyway, let's stay in your, the bodybuilding realm this time around. Something special happened this year in the fact that pretty much we can say that the top seven guys, if we include Kai Green, did not participate in the Arnold nor the show you're doing. What's up with that? Why did I do that? Are they in a strike? We have no Sean Roden, no Dexter Jackson, no Big Ramy, no Bonac, no Rolly Winkler, and no Kai Green. Nobody's
I think
competing,
it
and
ha-
like you came back to save the day.
I think it's kind of having to do with the extension of the season. So you got post Olympia, you got all these shows at the end of the season. A lot of these guys can pick up the qualifications if they didn't get them already early, so they don't have to compete all year. And then just some of the guys just need to rest their body after that extra time they spent after the Olympia. So I think it's a big part of it. Maybe a conspiracy, who knows? But if it is, it works in my favor.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Cedric real quick, who won versus Dallas a week before you. He came bigger. Arguably, in my opinion, was a little bit softer, right? Of course, we did not see you next to him stage day, but what do you think of his version this year?
Yeah, I noticed he was bigger. Definitely know he was bigger. He was missing some of the back Christmas and detail in the lower back and Christmas tree, and you just see the skin texture of his conditioning wasn't there. But this is what he was going for. This is what the look he was trying to bring to the stage. Obviously, he was happy with the look, and it got him to win. So who am I to judge or complain about that? Definitely what he's doing, he's secure with in his mind, and it's the right thing for him. So more power to him. He's a teammate of mine, so more power to him. Two SciTech wins for the year so far. And hopefully, make it one more.
Absolutely. And to stay right there, real quick, with the Arnold, Ohio. Do you agree if I say to you, if I state that the 212 category was a bit more entertaining, harder, more conditioned than the big guys?
Yeah, yes, that was consensus going all the way around. I saw the prejudging of both events being the time changing difference in Kuwait. So I definitely believe the conditioning was more competitive in the 212. So it's a matter of it's still a matter of who had the best uh, just overall structural physique, even if everybody's conditioning is on. So it's still pretty much judged the same, one with the same categories. Even though you could say that David Henry slightly edged everybody out in conditioning in the 212, but then it came all around to the overall completeness and structure of Ashkenani with the win that got him the nod over David Henry's just hard green conditioning. So it's much of the same, even though overall the condition of 212 was better overall.
All right, so you'll be competing right now in a few hours. Again, you will collide with Dallas. I think we all agree is your main competition, right? There.
Yes. Yeah,
Josh,
he's 3 shows in, so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles 3 shows back to back. I don't think it's ever been done for him before, and so it's going to be interesting. You got Max Charles coming in, who came in really good condition at the Arnold Classic. It'd be good to see what he brings overseas, and it may not be as easy to bring that condition overseas, of course. You got Michael Lockett that came in as well, I think a day ago. So I've been here for a week, so I kind of got some time on those guys here to make that adjustment. So it's going to be interesting what they were able to do by before getting on stage tomorrow to their physiques. But
well, Charles was one of the most conditioned in the Arnold, Ohio. I agree with that.
hmm
Lockett, he brings those crazy glues development, but I won't worry about him because structurally, Lockett unfortunately has some limitations. Up there, the physique does not flow well, in my opinion. And Max
hmm
Charles again lacks the roundness and those bellies that you or a guy like Cedric can bring on stage. So we'll see how it goes for you, my friend. After that, I've heard that Abdullah told me you'll have a full 5 months in Kuwait.
Yeah, we're getting back to Kuwait probably around the end of May, right before Ramadan, I believe. And so I'll be just ready to focus on trying to get a little off-season time, putting on some mass. He said 6 kilos, 6 more kilos today, as of today's. But that always, they can change. So gonna get that, go to work. Don't mean I'm not gonna be working when I'm at home. So maybe I'll come back and surprise them with whatever, whatever accomplish on my own as well. So, but back to the business of bodybuilding, regardless if I'm home or if I'm at Kuwait, I got some plans for the end of the season, and I just want to take advantage of the momentum.
Absolutely, and I guess when you were away, and I can witness to that, your biggest supporter is your wife, right? Isn't she?
Definitely, 100%. She actually made it out to Australia. We've not we She came by, hang out with me all day, but she has her own room because it's all business over here. But yes, so she's definitely number one supporter. She's even just talking some junk on some boys tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, she's always commenting on any picture I put of you. She defends you, and it's a common trait. I mean, your wife, the girlfriend of Phil Heath, the girlfriend of Dexter Jackson. They're really passionate. A lot of people forget about these. I mean about this fact, but the women of bodybuilders, they can make them or break them. They're the biggest support. Pretty much for most of you guys, it is the rock that you build your career around, right?
Right. They can give us they can give us shit, but can't nobody else give us that because they know what's going on. They know exactly what's going on, and so they know what to criticize. When they see other people criticize and don't know nothing, then I think it just gets under their skin, so they have to react to that. So it's just that mother instinct, I guess, protection instinct that they have for people they love. But it's a beautiful thing. We can't do it without them in the sport, understanding what we do and being supportive of what we do. I've had it the other way around, and I would much rather prefer it this way. So
Absolutely. Now that you've been in Kuwait and you witnessed, I mean, the environment there, I mean, the fitness and the bodybuilding scene, do you confirm that it is really a hot spot? It is that good. It is a mecca of bodybuilding nowadays that nobody can dismiss.
yeah, nobody can dismiss that. I support Bader 100% on that. On his claim that that's definitely a place to be if you want to make progress. It's definitely a serious place to consider in bodybuilding. Definitely start new trends in the industry. I mean, look at these guys. We got an unclear postseason, right? The only thing that's sure about this season is what Team Oxygen, right? If you
Absolutely,
think
pretty
about it,
much.
you think about it. Maybe you say Phil, he throw the champ in there too, but everybody else is you're not it's not too clear about right at this moment, right of now, because we won't see these guys until the end of the year anyway. So, one thing you can count on is the team oxygen is going to come, and we're going to come, and we're going to come strong. So,
Absolutely. What was your place in last year in Mr. Olympia, Mr. Brandon?
I was out of the top, so I was one of the N15, I guess it was.
Okay,
So I wasn't even a question. I was just there for the motivation.
pretty much. Last year they compared you with Kevin Lavroni, right?
hmm Got that comparison. So that was cool.
That was
That
cool,
was
but
definitely cool. Yeah.
as cool as it is, he's a legend of the sport. Quite frankly, I do not think you will be compared to him again this year. What do you think about that?
I'm pretty sure I won't. I'm pretty sure I won't. Like I said, this game on, and like I said, I've got everything I need. I got the support behind me, so it's not the same branding, not in the same condition as last year, definitely.
Not, not the shame, Brandon. I mean, I see you this year standing there in the final comparison in that top six. Would you agree with that, or do you think it is an overstatement?
No, it's not an overstatement. We totally agree. Abdullah is one of the first things he said to me at the Olympia last year when we first kind of really officially met. He said, I believe if you come to Kuwait, I can get you in the top six of the Olympia next year. So, I wouldn't have bit that apple if I didn't think he was giving me the truth. So.
Yeah, I mean, me and Abdullah, we speak a lot. We talk pretty much daily, and I'm not, sometimes like I'm like a middleman. I talk to bodybuilders, to try to negotiate with them moving to Kuwait, and I can tell you, a lot of them regretted not coming to Kuwait. This year after seeing the results you were able to accomplish, they were literally astonished. And Brandon, I mean, you're 34, 35 now. Okay,
34 years old, yes.
okay. Now, back in the day, in the days of, let's say, Dorian Yates. The guru factor or the trainer factor was not that important. I mean, Dorian was training by himself in England and he was still winning, and a lot of guys, most of them were rolling by themselves. Even Kevin Lavroni of old. Would you agree that today it's pretty much impossible for a bodybuilder to do it on his own? He needs like a solid team around him, right?
Yeah, it's impossible because it's back in the day, everybody was could play consistently, probably on a more level playing field, just based on the different environments, different things available. There really wasn't a real underground that was really going on back then either. So everybody had a chance, especially if you hung out in Venice Beach, you hung out in the right place where bodybuilding was actually thriving. You had a chance to, kind of be successful if you hung around long enough and hooked up with the right people. Since bodybuilding is so spread out now, we're all over the globe, all over the United States. We don't have those communities anymore, and it seems like if we do have those communities, they're being sought out and dismantled, and taken out. We hear about them in the news here and there. So, being that you have a community like that in Kuwait where you don't have to worry about that, it's just gives you a little bit more peace of mind, and allows us to do things that they could do back in the day, or places that you could do back in Venice that you can't really get away with a lot of some of those things now. It's easy unless you're just in a network really good. So that's where the gurus come into play because they're responsible and they have the information, the knowledge that's been passed down. And they also know the resources as well. So
And again, I mean, the guy you're rolling with, Abdullah, is only 31, right? A lot of people dismiss him because he was more into judo and some martial arts, but his knowledge is there. So again, there's not the bend with age. And if we say in the guru's subject, Brandon, we all heard the bad news about our friend George Farah. It's a big hit. Hopefully, we all wish him doing well and coming back strong. Do you think that his sickness will affect the bodybuilding scene, knowing that he is rolling with Dexter and Kyrene and some others?
it will affect them somewhat. I don't know how much Dexter can be affected by anything because he's such a proven physique. But it's going to affect some